and stuff, right? Really bad shit. You know, he burned a whole lot of people. He was a terrible, terrible person.
Thief.
I really hate him. Of all the people in society, I hate him more than Trump. You know, because he actually did kill people.
They were not vulnerable to terrorism.
Trump just bungled COVID. You know, that's not the same. That's just politician. You know, tomfoonery or whatever they call it, buffoonery. That's just, you know, politician. That's just, you know, business as usual.
The cracks it caused in our self-confidence can never be repaired.
Yeah, it's true. We
If it
like we
happened
never
once,
we were never the same after this. We were like, wait, somebody just blew us up? What? You can just do that? You just go blow up a building or whatever, make some crazy political point or whatever, and be a fucking martyr? And we had never seen this before. Not really. We had seen people try to bomb things, and we had seen bombs. We didn't really see like this. This was like going to Oklahoma. This was like the Oklahoma City bombing. It was very, very, very bad.
could it happen again? Was the question in everyone's mind.
Yes.
What director of
And
the
did.
FBI's New York
Yes,
office.
it did. And if you think about it, the Oklahoma City bombing is another 9/11 if you really think about it. Because all three of them were like these crazy, I don't know, crazy nuts. They were kind of suspect. And, you know, and it was just weird. It was just weird.
Somewhere in a creek.
Usually a really, really, really reclusive right winger. And they usually read this old book from the 70s that's like this weird race theory book that talks about like you know, like terrible racism and the white man rising up to stop the big great replacement and all that stupid ass shit that alt-right people talk about. And you know, and it was a book that all these idiot bombers like Ted Kaczynski wrote, or sorry, read, and just tried to emulate in their real lives. Like this weird, crazy alt-right nut in the fucking weird underground who I believe was later convicted of murder, if I recall, but I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, he just, you know, I don't even want to talk about it anymore.
Stories deep, in wreckage a block wide.
I am very tired and I'm going to go to bed. I'm terribly sorry, guys. It's been a long day for me. I drove for a long time today, so... Or, I don't know. Maybe I'll eat something before I go to bed, but I'm getting to the end here.
His identity.
I'll piss
At
and
least,
run for like 10 more minutes. I'll be right back.
At 12:18 p.m. on February 26, 1993, panic and confusion gripped the 110-story World Trade Center Tower 1. People were trapped in elevators. Lights went out. Smoke turned the hallways black. Thousands of the injured and panicked occupants choked as they tried blindly to escape what seemed like a nightmare. The engineer who designed the towers anticipated several potential disasters. He structurally designed them to withstand the violence of a sustained hurricane and something as unimaginable as the impact of a fully fueled jet. It seemed that something had been overlooked, but no one knew what. On that day, Tower 1 became the city's tallest chimney. The stairwells acted as flues, drawing smoke up from the basement, blackening every floor. In the first chaotic hours, all officials knew for sure was that the cause of the problem was in the basement garage. Neil Herman, supervisor of the Joint Terrorist Task Force at the FBI's New York office, was just blocks away from the Trade Center. Unaware of the cause of the mayhem, the FBI took it upon themselves to respond.
Initially, we felt, and we were told that it was possibly a fire or a transformer. Within a few minutes, it became apparent from the traffic on the police channels that there was something there more than just a fire or some kind of an accident. And I dispatched, along with myself, members of the Joint Terrorism Task Force down to the World Trade Center.
The immediate concern was getting the trapped victims out of the building. Extensive damage created logistical problems for rescue workers. Many of those inside struggled to make their own way to safety. The elevators had broken down, and those on the top floor had to walk down 110 flights. There were tremendous injuries due to smoke inhalation. As hundreds of emergency personnel continued their rescue efforts, FBI agents dispatched to the Trade Center were scouring the area for any indication of what may have caused the devastation. The destruction was massive. The city streets around the complex were buckling. The Vista Hotel, which rests between the two towers, had sustained tremendous amounts of damage. It was immediately apparent to investigators that whatever occurred below the street level was powerful enough to come up through 4 levels of the parking garage, up to the street and higher. Special Agent Chuck Stern of the FBI's counterterrorism branch began the process of organizing the investigation.
It started to look like it might be an explosion, a criminal explosion. I would say maybe within an hour of the blast. And then, of course, more and more information kept coming back. You know, we had our special agent bomb technicians from the FBI were down there and, you know, working with the bomb squad from the city police department. And, you know, they were reaching the same conclusion that, you know, this is what it appeared to be.
By early that evening, 200 agents and lab personnel from the explosives unit at FBI headquarters were flown in to assist the hundreds of ATF and NYPD bomb squad technicians already at the scene. Locating survivors and getting them out was the only concern. The rescue effort was largely focused in the garage area. As they slowly made their way through the wreckage, rescue workers were shocked and relieved to find survivors.
Wow. Yeah, most of them survived actually, which was good. They were maimed, but they survived. It was a blessing in that respect. 9/11, we lost 3,000.
FBI, ATF, and NYPD bomb technicians had suited up in protective gear to aid in the search. Some carried thermal imaging cameras to scan for bodies trapped in the rubble. The discoveries became more gruesome. 6 people had been found dead. Among the dead was John DiGiovanni, a dental supply salesman who had parked his car in the underground lot. Robert Kirkpatrick, William Mako, Stephen Knapp, and Monica Smith were also killed. They'd worked for a company that provided maintenance to the World Trade Center. Monica was pregnant with her first child. Wilfredo Mercado, an employee last seen unloading a van in the garage, was found dead, buried under 12 feet of concrete. Inside the garage was an apocalyptic scene. Debris and concrete were scattered 100 yards in all directions. Hundreds of cars had been demolished, and small fires erupted from spilled gasoline. Pumps drained a flood of water and sewage from broken pipes. Overhead, 6 tons of concrete clung to warped rebars. Fiber optic cables dangled. To FBI agents, there was no way that the cause of this damage was accidental. Special Agent Chris Ronay from the FBI Laboratories Explosives Unit surveyed the damage.
Well, as we analyzed the damage to the building, even in the early stages, it was clear that there was a very large bomb, a very large explosive device of some hundreds of pounds. It was clear from the beginning. We didn't know how big it was. Placed in the basement on one of the parking garage levels. most likely in a vehicle.
If the agent's initial conclusions were correct, this was the single greatest act of terrorism on American soil at that time. The morning after the explosion, interagency teams prepared for their first extended glimpse of the destruction. In addition to the ongoing search for victims, they were now looking for any clue that could explain the explosion. But they were explicitly instructed not to move any evidence. The structural integrity at the lower levels was severely weakened. Any disturbance might cause what little support there was remaining to collapse on those inside.
I made some oatmeal with fruit and cream.
The floor of the B2 level of the garage had collapsed, sending hundreds
Nice
of
healthy
cars
meal.
from 3 parking levels down several stories. All the vehicles came to rest at the bottom level, crushing the tower's refrigeration room.
Oh yeah, so good.
Actually, the engineers told us that that debris that was piled around the columns, sort of like a soda straw stuck into a pile of sand. And you couldn't remove the debris because that would remove what little support was present, and it was holding the Vista Hotel up.
Construction crews spent hours reinforcing the walls and columns in the parking levels so that agents and investigators could safely explore the scene. After several hours, agents and technicians began to make their way into the blast area.
It was very, very eerie because it was deserted, and there were a lot of cars with the trunks blown open and things like that. And some of them you could hear ticking because which was kind of an eerie thing at a bomb site, because the turn signals had been activated and were actually still flashing on some of the cars.
Gradually, the searchers got closer to the origin of the blast, known as Ground Zero. The damage was so extensive that there was no conclusive evidence that pointed to the cause of the explosion. The floors were completely blown away, leaving a 5-story crater which extended through the cavity of the building.
This shit was fucked. I forgot how bad this was.
Searching for explosive residues had difficulty finding them. They were mixed in with concrete debris and building materials. They had to sift through tons of dirt and rubble in the hope of finding some scrap of evidence. Hundreds of damaged vehicles were swabbed and vacuumed in search of residues. Agents persisted. Somewhere in the devastation were answers. As the images of the World Trade Center bombing were broadcast around the nation, people reacted with horror and disbelief. America's innocence had been shattered. The United States joined the list of countries hardened by terrorist attacks.
I love the Eve spaceships because they don't take fuel. They do, depending on what you're doing. If you're running something really big, it will. But yeah, no real fuel for like normal ships all the way up to like huge ships, And so I can just go. I can just like I'm in a ship. I want to be able to walk around in the ship eventually. I think that would be so cool. They should always have this huge open room in the center of the ship. And like, yeah, and just have you have you pilot by monitor, like have monitors show you where you're going. And I'm out here in space and I don't have to go back, and I don't have to hang her up. I don't have to go like dock or anything like that. I'm going to log out here in space, which I can do. I'm going to safe log out here, log out safely. And they're going to let me do in 30 seconds. That's fast because I don't have any aggression timers, which is good. And sadly, guys, I'm going to go to bed. I just wanted to eat my oatmeal before I did so I felt a little bit better. Did a lot of drinking last night and I'm a little bit hungover. And Yeah, and then I drove for like, you know, a long time today, so, you know, it's kind of a tough day. And I'm going to stop now. Thank you for watching Skycat Live. I'm a full-time variety gamer all day, every day. Put me on in the background. You know, come click on the cast face to the donate at skycat.live, my website. Come to the Twitch or the YouTube and give me a like, sub, or a follow. Sorry, my camera got bumped. And then come to my YouTube and give me a like, sub, or a follow. Sorry, I'm very tired. Big active IRL day as well as 8 hours of streaming. So, love you guys. Thank you so much for your time. I'm going to go to bed. I'm done for the night. I'm well done and cooked. Good night. I love you. Bye. I'm going to stop recording. Yeah, I'm going to stop. Yeah, I'm going to stop the recording now. Oh, also, I have thousands of videos on my YouTube channel, so come check me out, baby.